America, what you know about noose ready? What you know about chalk lines and double barrels? What you know about a murder weapon, or a loose cigarette, or a baby sleeping on a couch? What you know about the flag, the truck that followed me down a lonely road in Georgia, the names that I wrote off my tongue in prayer: Saint Sojourner, Saint Harriet, Saint Rakia, Saint Sandra, bring me home. Or leave me steady, gun aimed and cocked ready. Ain't we beautiful? Those that survived the purging, those that spill by display glorious from a hateful song. This swing, sweet, low spiritual ain't never been inclusive. Call it what it is. Call it post-traumatic slave syndrome. Call it land tax, turn homelessness. Call it abortion, turn sterilization. Ain't no lie. Like the one against our stillborn children. Ain't no lie. Like the many that shaped our babies into mute cattle. Prison industrial complex reverberates in the tune of elementary. Fourth graders are their easiest targets. One, a math problem. If one woman got 7 Mac 11s and 2 heaters for the Beamer, how many Congress seats will the NRA lose? How many votes will it take for a sexual predator to lift the White House off her feet?
When asked, a White House spokesman declined to comment on whether or not.
Be suspicious of persons that exhibit signs of infection. Report these individuals immediately. Do not
What's going on, guys? Skinny here, back with another video. This time it's a behind the scenes of a spoken word performance done by Mahogany L. Browne. Mahogany is a poet located here in New York City, and she has performed in many places around the globe. In this current climate, we felt that it was important to capture this performance and deliver it in a way that move you emotionally, move you spiritually, or at the very least, just open up a conversation about what's going on. Many people on this platform and in other places have utilized their voice and their reach to bring attention to this current situation, and they have either spoken up about it, they have utilized their platform to continue this conversation, or even just shared their platform with other creators of color that they admire, that the world may not have known about. With that being said, as a photographer and videographer myself that is directly linked to the effects and the movement that is happening right now for Black Lives Matter, I felt that it was my moral obligation, my spiritual duty to utilize my skill set to deliver these images and create some sort of emotion and just stir the pot within everyone. The original artwork that is the backdrop to this video, it's titled Supremacy: Who Protects Us From You? It's done by two friends of mine, which is Julian Alexander and Steve Sweatpants. Utilized the Supreme logo but added Supremacy to the end, so it created a thought-provoking and timely piece just to bring awareness to this conversation as well. The art direction, producing, and curation of this project was done by another fellow creative here in Brooklyn by the name of Khadijat Oseni. Khadijat took the image from the laptop to the streets on a large community display, and she is the thread between all of the creators that have worked on this particular project. With that in mind, once Mahogany provided a sample audio clip of her piece that she wanted to recite, immediately I was able to visualize what was going on. It's also so close to 4th of July that the red, white, and blue of America, of the American flag, also police car lights, it all tied itself into what was going on. So lighting this scene, I decided to use the red, white, and blue on the sides of Mahogany, providing a rim light, and then from the front I provided just a neutral light, daylight balanced, from one of those Young Nuo LED lights bounced off of a white umbrella for softness. To elevate the performance, we replaced the white with black, so essentially making it red, black, and blue. still set amongst this backdrop that says supremacy, that has the images of the police behind her. It speaks to these like different undertones. For the lights, I was always interested in picking up some RGB LED panels without trying to spend tons of money on it, especially because right now the financial situation for myself and most of my friends that are also creatives, it is up in the air at the moment. There are some jobs coming in, there are some that are pending, there are some that are getting pushed back. So, you know, right now if you're picking up equipment, it has to be a long-term investment, and it has to add value to what you're doing. So luckily, I was scouting through Amazon and I stumbled onto these LED panels that are RGB and remote control, and they come 2 to a pack for $100. These are the panels. So pretty much I used one of these on each side of Mahogany. So because the panels are RGB, I was able to run them off of a Vagabond mini lithium battery pack that I have here for my Alien Bees strobes. And this is the remote control unit for the patio lights. It's a 1000 watt max power. I originally got that to control some tungsten lights that I have here in the house, but I was able to utilize that with the RGB lights because they're also dimmable. I shot the video on the Sony a6500 with the 16mm 1.4 Sigma lens, and I also shot handheld on the Sony a7 III with the 50mm, just to kind of give a more dramatic effect and also to have second angles to switch over to. The Sony a6500 was locked off on a tripod, allowing me to zoom in and out digitally, but also just to ensure that the backdrop was in focus or in frame, and creating that menacing atmosphere of the overseer or the officers behind. Once I heard the piece from Mahogany, I knew that it was gonna have a dramatic impact. It's a very strong piece and she's speaking from deep within her soul. So I wanted to make sure that the visuals also complemented that. One thing that I also did in post was sound design, which I felt was also important to this piece to kind of bring it to life. A lot of the sound effects I downloaded from Epidemic Sound. I was able to locate pretty much 80 or 85% of the sound design. Some of it I just recorded on my cell phone and then adjusted the levels or the audio effects in post. To emphasize the feeling of anxiousness, I downloaded audio that had a long droning sound, but also with a high-pitched noise throughout, a high-pitched frequency. And I also coupled that with the sounds of helicopters, the sounds of police cars, the sounds of news radio, and all of those things combined kind of give you that blockbuster feel, especially with the deep bass and the rumblings of it all. I tried not to overpower the actual piece with what I was doing, but I also wanted to support it. There's a scene, for instance, where Mahogany is praying, and I was able to look for the sounds of children whispering, which also kind of gave this kind of eerie feeling, which emphasized what she was talking about, being on this lonely road in the south and having a truck follow her through the darkness of night. So I hope you enjoyed the behind the scenes of this, and I just want to say a couple final words. But for those people that have stood up against injustice, thank you. For those that have used their platform to continue this conversation, thank you. For those that are behind closed doors having these conversations for change, thank you. For those that were silent in this moment and unable to find the courage to speak up against injustice and to speak up for what's right, the silence is deafening. And what you are currently seeing is a shift in the culture where it's unacceptable I do appreciate everybody for checking in, for stepping up, and for speaking out against injustice and systematic oppression. I think it's about time that we had that conversation. It might be awkward, it might be uncomfortable, but it is necessary. I think that as long as people are willing to have a conversation, that inception of change is there, you know? And one thing that I will say is that the leader of this country has peeled back the scabs of this nation and has allowed, you know, some people to come out of the dark and to come out of the shadows to the point where they are extremely proud to be bigots, where they're extremely proud to be racist, and also proud to have prejudice against people that they may not even interact with. It's appalling, and I sometimes can't even find the words to describe how insane that sounds. When the nation that it's happening in and the person leading it can't even find the courage to speak up for it, or severely lacks the empathy to defend this nation and the words liberty and justice for all. It's appalling. You know, I literally cannot even find the words to describe how I feel, and as an artist, sometimes I only know how to express myself through this medium that I have. So again, to those that have spoken up against injustice and used their platforms to bring awareness and continue to have those awkward and uncomfortable conversations, thank you. You know, literally from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And hopefully we can grow from this. And I want to remain optimistic, but we cannot have somebody leading this nation who also does not believe in the values of the Constitution and what the American flag stands for. So, with that said, I hope you enjoyed the visuals and this spoken word from Mahogany L. Browne. Thank you guys for watching Black Lives Matter, and thank you guys for standing up against injustice. Until next time,